Welcome to Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's, the investigative journalism program where I ask the question, Whatever happened to the pizza at McDonald's? I'm your host, Brian Thompson. One of the great pleasures of my job as an investigative journalist with a particular focus on matters relating to McDonald's pizza is that I often hear from you, the listeners, about any McDonald's pizza-related news that may have escaped my attention. Until I am able to establish communication with my counterparts across the multiverse, I am only one person, and there is a limit to how much information I can consume. But the combined observational abilities of my show's millions of listeners are quite formidable. So much so that there is rarely a public mention of McDonald's pizza that is not eventually pointed out to me. Most often, this information comes in the form of personal reports from those who have traveled to the novelty truck stop McDonald's in Orlando, Florida, that serves non-canonical pizza of the brick oven variety. But occasionally, I am sent information that is actually interesting. Such happened this very week, when multiple listeners reported a post made on the official McDonald's Facebook page. The post reads thusly, "Remember when we sold McPizza?" I admit it took me a moment to realize the impact of this interrogative. As it is written with neither capital letters nor punctuation, I thought at first I was being alerted to the disturbing fact that the McDonald's social media intern must be working in such squalor that they are forced to use a broken keyboard. But, as was quickly explained by some of my younger informants, this style of writing is quite common among the Internet's youth, aka the Pepsi generation, as enforcement of capitalization, punctuation, and other grammatical norms is seen as neoliberalism of the highest order. With that settled, I was free to engage with the most startling characteristic of the post. That is, the official public acknowledgement of McDonald's pizza. Yes, it is true that the McDonald's website makes mention of having once served pizza. This is the source of the oft-quoted falsehood that pizza was discontinued because it took too long to make. As revealed on last week's shocking episode, the Tim Hortons Corporation has introduced pizza at its Canadian restaurants that takes only 1 to 2 minutes to make, thus conclusively proving McDonald's claim is quite similar to the title of the 2010 Kanye West album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, save for the part about it being beautiful. But since its discontinuation, McDonald's has been loath to mention the existence of their pizza, lest the public be riled to demonstrate for its return via organized civil disobedience, or, God Ben David forbid, even uncivil disobedience. Yes, it is also true that McPizza and McDonald's pizza are not the same item. But this is a metaphorical battle I am somewhat weary of fighting. Despite all my efforts to educate the public to the contrary, the term McPizza is consistently used to reference original recipe McDonald's pizza, even though McDonald's pizza was pizza, and the McPizza was, at best, a pizza-flavored hand pie. Similarly, I have had to cease correcting people when they refer to this show as a podcast, even though it long ago surpassed podcast quality to become an investigative journalism program, or IJP. I simply do not have the time to constantly correct the public on these matters, despite my journalistic devotion to the truth, and also despite the fact that I have freed up quite a bit of my schedule by giving up sleep and instead just closing my eyes for 5 minutes every 2 hours. I would not be the first to have to pick his proverbial battles in this manner. Long ago, literature experts, cinephiles, and gorehounds devoted to the written and filmed tellings of the Frankenstein story, had to give up admonishing those who would mistakenly call the monster Frankenstein, rather than by its true name, Pegneck. Punctuation or not, and proper nomenclature or not, This Facebook post from McDonald's is somewhat historic and merits further study. It originally escaped my attention because I am no longer a regular user of Facebook. In the early days of this program, I maintained an official Whatever Happened to Pizza at McDonald's Facebook page, but I quickly came to realize doing so was largely futile when it comes to educating and informing potential listeners. Many followers of said page also followed my program on other social media services, and those few who used Facebook exclusively were like most other Facebook devotees, namely, cult members who have sworn their lives to a charismatic leader named Q. Such is not the kind of audience I wish to cultivate, so I have left my Facebook presence unattended. But when I jacked into the net and logged back on to Facebook so I could examine this McDonald's post, I found something rather disturbing in the comments. Many commenters confirmed that yes, they did indeed remember McPizza. As an educator, I was somewhat distressed to see how many stated that no, they did not remember McPizza. Still more commenters took the opportunity to share messages completely unrelated to McDonald's pizza, such as one gentleman's complaint that the price of the McMuffin has increased in a manner that is not commensurate with the rate of inflation, and another customer who reported that consuming an undercooked quarter pounder with cheese caused a torrent of shit to explode out of his ass. But what caught my attention are a plethora of comments that are all quite eerily similar. User Anthea Kioshia simply writes, "Funny." Right beneath this comment is another from Jessica Vaughn, which reads, "Ha ha ha." Then, from Laura Cangalosi, again the single word, "funny." Followed by Christy Austin writing, "Ha ha ha." Then Amanda Starr comments, "Funny." Anna Ann writes, "Funny." Karen Hernandez, "Ha ha ha." Jill Branch, "Funny." Christina Dixon, "Funny." Deneen Laurent, "Funny." Joy Haynes, "Funny." Megan Bell, "Funny." Christy Klinko, "Funny." Despite all these funnies and ha-ha-ha's, I fail to see any humor in McDonald's original post. It is a simple question. Remember when we sold McPizza? Seeing so many startlingly similar reactions of jocularity to such a solemn statement metaphorically shook me to my literal core. Having an inappropriately amused reaction to a serious subject has long been seen as a sign of antisocial or even criminal derangement. Take, for example, the fictional character of the Joker, aka the Clown Prince of Crime. One of the defining characteristics of this unquestionably evil character is the signature ha 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 he ejaculates while engaging in grave activities like inviting a man in a cape to sniff his lapel flower, then squirting him with poison. Similarly, the narrator of the great song 1 Week is so unconcerned with the rules of society that he has a history of taking off his shirt. Is it any wonder, then, that he describes himself as the kind of guy who laughs at a funeral? Curious to learn more about their sick minds, I decided to investigate the Facebook profiles of some of these commenters. Choosing at random, I picked the aforementioned Christy Klinko. At once I noticed she only had a few friends. This is to be expected of someone with her particular affliction, as surely I am not so sure the antisocial see success seeking social circles. But when I continued to the list of Facebook pages she had liked, I discovered something quite surprising indeed. Christy Klinko had liked 3 different Facebook pages that were all called Abandoned Beauties. Browsing these pages, I found their content to be identical. They post pictures of abandoned houses, businesses, and other buildings that demonstrate a certain beauty in their decay. Be it the lush greenery of vines creeping up the side of a rotting mansion, or blooms of rust-colored rust resting over a rusted restaurant, the beauty on display amongst these abandoned beauties was quite striking. I could see why following a single abandoned beauties page would not be enough for someone particularly taken by abandoned beauties, so I could not judge Christy Klinko for following 3. I left her page and clicked through to the profile of another commenter. Once again, I found that this person had very few friends. But once again, I discovered that they had liked 3 Facebook pages: Abandoned Beauties, Abandoned Beauties, and Abandoned Beauties. I hurried to another profile and found the same, and then the same once more, and so on, and, as you can probably guess by now, so forth. For a moment, I considered the possibility that these profiles did not belong to human beings at all, criminally deranged or otherwise. Perhaps they were what is known as bots, artificial intelligences created by marketing companies to pose as real people interacting with online brands to create the illusion that said brands are enjoying a high level of customer engagement. But there is one fatal flaw to this theory. Soulless bots do not have the emotional intelligence to understand beauty. So it seems clear that these are real people, and I must know more about them. To gain more insight into their twisted minds, I have created a Facebook page called Abandoned Beauties. It may be distinguished from the other 3 Abandoned Beauties pages by its profile photograph, which is a photograph of one of the most beautiful and most abandoned beauties of all, the McDonald's on the desolate island of Adak, Alaska. It is my hope that these commenters, drawn by their hunger for more photographs of abandoned beauties, will like my new Abandoned Beauties page, thus creating just the metaphorical icebreaker I need to further ingratiate myself to them and perhaps become one of their very small number of Facebook friends. But first, I will need more photographs of abandoned beauties, so that I might maintain a regular schedule of abandoned beauties content for my Abandoned Beauties page. Thankfully, the great city of Los Angeles and its surrounding municipalities play host to quite a few abandoned beauties, particularly the city of Burbank, which contains miles upon miles of abandoned hamburger stands, car washes, ham radio outlets, and year-round Halloween costume stores. In other words, beauties. And since, as I mentioned, I have given up sleep, I have plenty of time in the evening hours to spend strolling through the city with my camera. However, before one slinks into the night to photograph abandoned beauties, one must take certain precautions.
Good morning, Burbank Police Department.
Hello, my name is Brian Thompson. I was just calling to inform the police that I'm going to be wandering around town tonight taking pictures of abandoned beauties, and I didn't want to be arrested for vagrancy or such like.
Okay, do you know in the area that you're going to be in or anything like that?
Just all around Burbank, there are many abandoned beauties, and so I will be taking photographs of them downtown, uptown, midtown, etc.
Okay, we'll try and put it as info. It's kind of hard to um, we'll let our officers know, and I'll put the information in here, but it's kind of hard if I don't have a specific location and not certain that people won't call on you.
Oh, certainly, I
If
understand. I
if
understand.
they
Well,
do and officers respond out, you can just let them know what you're doing.
okay, well, if they just see anybody near an abandoned beauty taking photographs, that will probably be me.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Goodbye. And now, a word from our sponsor. Have you ever been driving down a busy highway with your precious loved one and suddenly remembered you forgot to tell them you purchased a new pair of glasses? And when you correct this mistake by saying something like, "My beloved, did you notice I purchased a new pair of glasses?" Does your precious loved one obviously hide a grimace just before lying that your new glasses look really nice? Does this reaction make you feel a deep sadness that manifests itself as anger, causing you to rip the glasses from your face and throw them out the window? And when you rip the offending glasses off your face, does it impair your vision to such a degree that you fail to see the oncoming Costco delivery truck before it smashes head first into your car, leaving you miraculously unscathed, but your precious loved one less miraculously and even very fatally scathed? If this sounds familiar, then try a better-looking pair of glasses from Warby Parker. Warby Parker. Almost all of their customers' precious loved ones are still alive. Do you know what happened to pizza at McDonald's? Do you remember it? Please send all correspondence to pizzaatmcdonalds@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @pizzaatmcd's, and purchase my best-selling book, How to Be an Investigative Journalist, at howtobeaninvestigativejournalist.com. To support the show, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/pizzaatmcd's for exclusive podcasts and other benefits. Thank you to my invaluable Patreon producers: Isabella Zeliskowski, Joe Kajik, Kimberly King, Kyle Turok, Pam Gabriel, Will, Andrew Duffy, Billy Jean, Brad Allen Thompson, Felix Dooley, Jay Poop, Calvin Thomas, Kat Resney, Laurel Paul, Mel, Opus Mareshi, Ridian Mistelli, Ryan Guggenmoss, Sage W., Andrew Ahmed Johnson Rubin, Mitchell Kordick, Chief Keefe, Jacob Ford, Chief Keefe, Jacob Ford, and Marshall Deere.